Feeder fishing knots. Like with all my fishing, I like to keep things as logical and as simple as possible. When it comes to knots for feeder fishing, I use 2 knots, that's it, literally. Because if you think about it, you've got your reel line, the line goes through the rod and you connect it to a feeder. So in theory, all you need is 1 knot, but you need something that's strong and reliable and that you as an angler, you've got ultimate confidence in. For that reason, I use 1 knot, which is a full blood knot, which I use to attach my line to my feeder. And that's usually to a quick change swivel bead at the bottom of the feeder, and I'll show you exactly how to do that now. The other knot I use is a shock leader knot. So you can imagine you've got your main line, you run it through your rod, and especially for long range fishing, you want to get away with a minimal diameter main line, but you need that shock leader for the cast, for the compression, for the power, for the distance that you're trying to achieve. And as a result of that, because you're using a thin main line, minimal resistance, maximum distance. But yet at the same time, we're on a venue where you're targeting all sizes of fish, but especially those bigger carp. You need to tie a knot that you as an angler, you're really, really confident with, that it's not going to let you down. So I'm going to show you exactly what I do. It's really nice and simple. All it's a case of is a loop on your main line and connecting your shock leader to your mainline loop with a half blood knot. So I'll show you exactly how to do that right now. So let's talk about shock leader knots. Now this is your reel line, this is your main line. Quite simple, you want to tie just a simple loop. So I use a figure of 8 loop. So I double the line together, I then form a loop like so. I then fold it around the back like so, and through the back again. So I'm basically doing a loop and then a full circle back round, and you end up with a figure of 8 knot there. Beautiful. Now the thing is with this loop, don't have your loop too small, and before you pull it all tight, just wet the knot like so, pull it tight, just use this to secure the knot like so. Trim it down, only a bit, because I'll trim it down properly after I've fully completed the knot. Now this is my shock leader knot. This is my shock leader line. So then you put your line through your loop. I'll just swap it back round the other way. So the shock leader line goes through the loop, you put your finger in the middle, and you do a half blood knot. So 2, 3, 4, 5 turns, and back through the hole at the bottom. Grab the tail end. Before you begin to pull it tight, always wet it. And rather than pulling it down like now, I want to ease the knot down. See how easy it is now? I'm easing the knot to the loop. That puts less stress on the main line. And then I just want to pull it tight with my teeth, and bring it, see how it's all brought down together like that. And then it's a simple case of, I always carry these pliers with me. These are absolutely brilliant for tightening everything together. So now I'm going to give it a good pull like so, make sure everything's nice and tight, and then it's a simple case of trimming the tag ends off. It's really important to trim these tag ends off. That creates minimal resistance as the knot is going through the guides. And then trim the tag end off the main line as well. And there you have it. And the beauty about this knot, it's so simple to tie on the bank. So if you do have a problem, there are other knots you can use, but in my opinion it's the simplest and most effective, but by all means, above all, the strongest as well. So give that a go next time you need to use a shock leader to mainline setup. For braid or mono, it works for both. So the next knot I use is a full blood knot, and this is basically where you're fishing a main line straight through to whatever feeder you're using, whether it's a bomb, a flatbed method feeder like what I've got here, or a mini hybrid. It's such a strong connector. This is the quick change bead at the end. whether it's an inline one like this or just a simple black bead, a stop bead at the end. But this is the best connector, best connection I've found for this setup. So you thread your line through your feeder, your main line through your feeder. You then attach the bead. And this is where I think a lot of people go wrong, because a very popular knot is a half blood knot into this little groove. But the problem is, when you go to change your feeder, you really do have a problem actually snipping the line, because the knot is now in that groove there. So all I do, this is a lot simpler and makes more sense when you have a look at it. I'm doubling the line up, and I'm wrapping the line around my fingers like so, and all I'm doing is I'm putting that connector through the loop 4 times, which is going to create what we call a full blood knot. 1, 2, 3, 4. Before I pull it tight properly, I'm just going to wet it a bit, bring it down, pull it tight. Now that is so strong, but like what I've said, I'll just show you the setup now. Let's pull it all tight. That goes in there like that. There we go, all set up to go. But let's say, for example, for whatever reason you want to change your feeder, all it's a simple case of is unattaching that, pulling that back over the line, over the knot, trimming that off, and then you can it's ready to reset up again. It's so simple, rather than tying a half blood knot against there. So next time you're out, give those 2 knots a go. But it's so simple. They're both so simple, but very effective and extremely strong.